I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank all the people. Like I said, I did it all on my own. Everything I did on my own. There's no one. Oh, this ain't the Oscars. Hey, it's Bruce Naylor. You know what time it is. It's coffee time. Coffee break time. So coffee break is something I just recently started. Every day at 9 a.m. a new coffee break. And this is a chance for you to interact with me through your questions on the comments. So you ask your questions, and the next episode I will do my best to answer them. But before we get started, well, the bottom line is right here, Grand Theft Auto 5. Little funny story about this. So I put this in my Xbox and I'm playing it, and my wife sits down and she started saying, turn it down, turn it down, turn it down. What is it they're saying? And she really got offended over the language. So I turned it down. I'm a big boy. I can handle a little bit of language. But then she goes, are they shooting police officers in there? And I said, well, yeah, that's... and she goes, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. So I'm not allowed to play Grand Theft Auto 5 with my wife at home. And she's always here, so I don't know how I'm going to... I should have got the PC version, I guess. I wanted to share that with you. Yeah, by the way, did anybody out there catch the Oscars last night? I did. And the very first time I've ever sat and watched the Oscars. I've never watched it before. Now, why did I watch the Oscars this time? I watched it because Casey Neistat made a commercial for Samsung, and my wife is a huge Casey Neistat fan, so we had to watch that show. How long did that last? Like 3? We had to watch it for, from 8:30 on. Well, come midnight, I just couldn't stay awake any longer. And they just announced the winner, which was La La Land. I flipped it off. Imagine to my surprise to find out that Moonlight was actually Moonlight actually won the whole thing. Okay, so got my Skype going on right here. Any rate, part of what Coffee Break is about is your questions and me answering them, and a way for us to kind of have some banter back and forth without me live streaming or, So let's just go through some of the questions that I got here. Coffee, filtered, espresso, Turkish, or something totally different? It is filtered coffee. Drip coffee, brewed coffee, however you want to put it. Nothing fancy here about the coffee. This is a good one from Gordon Keenan. Gordon says, hey, I might as well give you a few questions to ponder or ignore, laugh out loud. Well, Gordon, I'm not ignoring you. When it comes to hardware revenues, when it comes to hardware reviews, unboxings, do you find that people who get review kit or people who spend their cash on the hardware to offer more reliable and trustworthy review feedback on the items? To answer that question, I think it would be human nature that if you're given a product for review for free, that you would probably want to go easy on them in hopes of getting, more review products, especially if it's a name brand, like Samsung or HP or somebody like that. So, I would look at that with I would be very, very suspicious, especially when they start praising that device. All right. Now, as somebody buys a product and reviews it and with their own funds, I think my gut tells me that's going to be a more subjective, or not a subjective, but a better review, a more honest review, because then they're not really worried so much about getting a review on. But true story. I mean, I bought an item one time. It was an Acer a tablet, 2-in-1, and I made a review of it, and I really liked the device. I did my best job possible, and I reached out to Acer a few months later and said, hey, take a look at this video. I'd be interested in reviewing some of your products, and they loved it. If I had given a negative review, obviously I wouldn't have got that. So I would be very skeptical over people who do pay review or get product for free. However, there are some YouTubers who are very ethical. Lon Seidman is one where even though he does get review items sent to him either through the Amazon Vine program or through his relationships, he always discloses that, and then he'll tell you whether they had any input on the video before it got released. And I have not known him to say or have a video review that actually the company was actually had final approval on the video first. So his opinions are all his own, so very ethical. Others I would begin to worry about. Next question from Gordon. When you have a reviewer recommending a piece of hardware, do you feel that they should practice what they preach, inasmuch they really do use equipment daily for specific tasks that they are saying the kit is good for? Another great question there. Oh, I mean, take a look at MKBHD and all the phones that he reviews. I'm sure he doesn't use all of them day in and day out. I think you should give it a period of time at least that you have the item for daily use to really understand all the ins and outs of it. I tend to try to review things that I would personally use, but I haven't always personally used some of the items I review day in and day out. But I do think you have to have that item in use for a while before you can give a good, honest, accurate view of what that device is like. Next question from him. When you have a reviewer upgrading their hardware all the time and basically demeaning the previous kit that they had recommended, how do I feel about that? That's terrible. If you were in, like I have the 2014 MacBook Pro, if I got a new one and I started saying, man, this is so much better than the other one, just junk compared to that, I would say that person is very questionable as a reviewer. I mean, you obviously, hopefully, the idea is that when you buy technology and you upgrade, that you're going to get better, faster, better specs, all that. Now that should but that doesn't mean you should denigrate what you had before. So I'd lose respect for him on that. So hopefully they answer your questions. Toss today writes, hey Bruce, you're one of the smartest people I know. Good topics. Well, thank you. Truly, I'm not. Maybe you don't know that many people. I'm not that. I don't feel like I'm particularly brighter than anybody else, but I get by. So thank you for the compliment. Anything else? The Bobcat guy writes, hello Bruce, new sub here. What are you using for an external hard drive? Is network better than USB 3? Thanks for your help, Keith. Well, so Keith, I use several different external drives. I have a Samsung SSD that connects via USB 3. I have a couple Phantom Green drives, or like 2 terabyte USB 2 external drives. I also just got a new NAS. It's a Synology DS216J. Now, each one of these has its own purpose in life. External drives are really good for, like on the MacBook Pro, for doing your Time Machine backups, or if you're working with video files and you keep them on an external drive. The NAS drives, as far as speed goes, my new NAS is pretty snappy. It's hooked up right over gigabit Ethernet connection, so it's fairly quick copying and transferring files back and forth. But its mission in life is to store or actually to archive files. So I kind of think of external drives as a working drive, and then when I'm finished with something, then if it's something I want to keep, then it's going to get archived onto the NAS. So hopefully that's the best answer that I can give to that. Anything else? I talked about Eli, the computer guy, the other day, and his change of formats, and I'm kind of getting some mixed comments on there. Some people, are fans of Eli. Others are not so much. Certainly, I think a number of people really feel that he could wrap up whatever he's talking about under, way under 2 hours, way under 2 hours. But, a lot of people like him, and I think he's a good guy. So hopefully that answers the rest of the questions. I think this is going to work. I really, truly do. I guess a couple other things to mention before we end the coffee break. Speaking of coffee, hopefully you have your favorite beverage. Just got done talking to my web guy today. Oh, tongue slipped there. I just got finished talking to my web guy. We have a WordPress site that's got a lot of custom code in it. Too much custom code for my comfort, because that causes problems when you need a new web developer or you want to move your website, and it requires more maintenance when updates to WordPress break something in the custom code. So that's a situation that you'd be surprised still yet to this day the number of businesses I talk to have no website. Can you believe that? In this day and age, in 2017, there's still a number of companies that don't have a website. Or if they do, it is very out of date, very slow, very buggy. And I really think your website needs, for me, that is my store. That is my, that's my brick and mortar store on the web, So it needs to be inviting, welcoming, and get right to the point and be easy to navigate and clean, a very clean look. And I'm just surprised the number of companies out there that have really either bad websites or no websites at all. So I've been working with that today, and also just taking care of business and making some sales and that kind of thing. So remember to leave your questions for me in the comments down below. I can't play GTA 5 on my Xbox because it's in the bedroom where the TV is, where my wife is. Even if I mute it, she knows what's going on, so I got to figure something out on that. But I think that's going to wrap up this little coffee break for today, and then we'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. with another installment of Coffee Break. So I look forward to your questions down below. And let's talk about career, technology, life, money, all those kind of things. Career advice, I like giving career advice, right? So, all right, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Enjoy that coffee or tea or favorite beverage.